A water pump on a BMW X5 can run you $2,000. The same job on the SUV I'm ending this video with? About $140 in parts, and that thing will still be turning over at 400,000 miles. 22 years under the hood have taught me one brutal truth. Most people don't get killed by unreliable cars, they get killed by expensive parts. So today, I'm handing you 5 SUVs where the parts are almost free and the engines flat out refuse to die. Number 1 is going to make you question everything you believe about luxury badges. Here's the deal before we start. Every SUV on this list checks 2 boxes, not one. Box 1, it'll run to 300,000, 350,000, some of them 400,000 miles, with nothing but fluids and wear items. Box 2, and this is the one nobody talks about when something does eventually break, the part costs pocket change because these engines are simple, mass-produced, and shared across a dozen other vehicles. Reliability is only half the equation. A car that lasts forever but costs a fortune every time it hiccups isn't cheap to own. These 5 are the real deal. Let's count them down. Number 5, Ford Escape with the 2.5-liter Duratec. I know, a Ford on a runs forever list. Stay with me because this is the one that surprises people the most, and it's the cheapest entry point on the entire list. Let me be crystal clear about which Escape, because this matters more than anything else I'm about to say. I'm not talking about the EcoBoost turbo models. The 1.5 and 1.6 turbos have coolant intrusion problems that'll crack you a block, and the 2.0 turbo drinks money. I'm talking about the base engine everybody ignores on the window sticker, the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter Duratec, the one the salesman apologizes for, the underpowered one. That engine is a tank. It's naturally aspirated, so there's no turbo to blow. It runs a timing chain, not a belt, so there's no expensive belt service hanging over your head. And here's the part almost nobody knows. It's built on the same Mazda-derived L engine architecture that's been proven for 2 decades. The design is old, and in the reliability world, old and proven beats new and clever every single time. The 2.5 Duratec is reported to last around 200,000 miles, and some owners have reported upwards of 300,000 miles, citing proper maintenance as the key factor. I had a lady come into my shop last spring, single mom, driving a 2015 Escape S she bought, used with 90,000 miles for $8,000. She was terrified something big was coming. I put it on the lift, and you know what I found? A slightly weepy valve cover gasket and worn brake pads. $40 in parts for the gasket, that's it. She'd convinced herself she owned a ticking time bomb, and she actually owned one of the cheapest SUVs on earth to keep alive. Why is it so cheap to own? Because it's a Ford. There are millions of them. Every parts store in America stocks the components. The aftermarket is flooded, and no part on this vehicle is exotic. An alternator, a starter, a water pump, you're looking at parts prices that would make a Land Rover owner cry into their coffee. Now let me be an honest mechanic, because I always am. The engine is the strong part. The weak part is the 6F35 6-speed automatic. It's not a grenade, but it's the thing most likely to give you trouble on a high-mileage Escape, especially if the previous owner never touched the transmission fluid. So here's your inspection checklist. 1. On the test drive, feel for hard or delayed shifts, especially the 1 to 2 shift when it's cold. Any harshness, walk or negotiate hard. 2. Pull the dipstick and look for pink, not brown, transmission fluid. Brown or burnt-smelling fluid means neglect. 3. Check under the engine for oil seepage around the valve cover and oil pan. Minor is fine and cheap. A soaked engine bay is a red flag. 4. Avoid anything with an inconsistent service history because this drivetrain rewards fluid changes more than most. Who should buy this one? Somebody on a tight budget who wants a genuinely cheap SUV that won't nickel and dime them. If you find a clean 2.5 Escape with records for 8 to 12 grand and you commit to changing that transmission fluid on schedule, you've got an appliance that can go 200,000 miles for the price of a used sedan. Who should skip it? Anyone who wants excitement because this thing is slow, and anyone chasing 350,000 miles. The Escape gets you there, but the next four get there easier. But if you think a cheap Ford is impressive, wait until you see what Honda did with an engine that some drivers have pushed literally past 1 million miles. Number 4. Honda CR-V with the K24. This is the one your mechanic secretly recommends to his own mother. The K24 is a naturally aspirated 2.4-liter four-cylinder, and in the reliability world, it's a legend on par with anything Toyota ever built. With regular maintenance, it's common for these engines to surpass 250,000 miles, and many have exceeded 300,000 miles without requiring a complete rebuild. One CR-V owner famously drove theirs to nearly 1,998,275 miles. That's not a typo. Here's why it's bulletproof, and I want you to understand the engineering because it explains the low repair costs. Honda built the K24 with an aluminum block, cast iron cylinder liners, a forged steel crankshaft, and a timing chain instead of a timing belt. The cast iron liners resist wear over hundreds of thousands of miles. The forged crank can take abuse. The timing chain never needs a scheduled replacement. And critically, it's port-injected, fuel sprays onto the back of the intake valves and keeps them clean, so you don't get the carbon buildup that plagues modern direct injection engines. It's almost like Honda designed it to make your mechanic bored. And the parts are hilariously cheap. The K24 ranks among Honda's most bulletproof four-cylinders ever made. Parts are cheap, the design is simple, and proper maintenance keeps them running for decades. RepairPal gives the CR-V a near-perfect 4.5 out of 5 reliability rating and ranks it second among 26 compact SUVs. The annual maintenance cost of a Honda CR-V averages around $407. That's real money in your pocket every year versus a European crossover. Car talk. Same rule as the Escape though, pick the right engine. If longevity is your goal, you want the naturally aspirated K24 in the second, third, or fourth generation of CR-V models. I'd steer you away from the 1.5-liter turbo in the newest ones if you're chasing 300,000 miles, because the turbo adds complexity and had fuel dilution issues. The old K24 has no such drama. I had a guy trade in a 2016 CR-V last year at 214,000 miles. Original engine, original transmission. He'd spent maybe $1,900 on non-maintenance repairs in 8 years, a wheel bearing, an AC recharge, and a set of struts. I told him he was crazy to sell it. He said his wife wanted heated seats. That's the only reason good CR-V vehicles ever leave. Inspection checklist. 1. On older second-generation models, the AC compressor was a known weak spot, the infamous Black Death failure, so make sure the AC blows cold because a compressor is one of the pricier fixes on these. 2. Listen for a marbles in a can rattle at cold startup. That's the timing chain tensioner, and if you catch it early, it's a cheap fix, but ignore it and you're rebuilding. 3. On certain K24 variants, check for oil consumption, pull the dipstick, and ask the seller how often they add oil between changes. 4. Check that the door locks and power windows all work because worn lock tumblers are a known Honda quirk, though they're minor. Who should buy it? Anyone who wants Toyota-level durability with parts you can get at any corner store in a package that's genuinely easy to work on in your own driveway. Who should skip it? If you need serious power or towing, the K24 is efficient, not muscular. And if you want the newest tech, the older bulletproof ones are basic inside. That's the trade. Number 3. Toyota RAV4 with the 2.5 liter. Now we're in Toyota territory, and this is where the runs forever reputation stops being a meme and starts being math. The RAV4's 2.5-liter four-cylinder, engine code 2 ARFE, in the sweet spot years, is exactly the kind of boring, over-engineered motor that lasts. The RAV4's 2.5-liter four-cylinder power plants regularly surpass the 250,000-mile mark without requiring major work, and a well-maintained RAV4 typically lasts 250,000 to 300,000 miles, with some owners reporting over 350,000 miles on original powertrains. RepairPal gives the RAV4 an outstanding 4.5 out of 5 stars, and IC Cars rates it 7.8 out of 10. Car Gurus. The engineering trick is the same one that makes the CR-V great. The 2 ARFE uses cast iron cylinder liners inside an aluminum block, which holds up well against wear over high mileage. Paired with a conventional 6-speed automatic, a real torque converter automatic, not some fragile CVT or dual-clutch gamble, you've got a drivetrain with almost nothing to go wrong. And the parts? This is the best-selling non-truck vehicle in America. Every junkyard has 10 of them, every parts counterstocks everything, and the aftermarket competition drives prices into the floor. A RAV4 water pump, a set of struts, an alternator. You're paying a fraction of what the German equivalent costs, and you can get the part the same day anywhere in the country. Let me give you the buyer's cheat code. The model years from 2016 to 2018 are the sweet spot. The 2 ARFE engine was fully sorted, the 6-speed automatic was well proven, and these years have the fewest reported issues. Here's what to watch. 1. The earlier 2.5-liter engine from 2010 to 2017 had a well-documented oil consumption issue on some engines. Toyota even issued a technical service bulletin and extended coverage, so on any RAV4 from those years, pull the dipstick and ask how much oil it uses between changes. 2. Avoid the older 2006 to 2008 RAV4 with the 2.4-liter engine if you can, because that engine has its own oil-burning history. 3. On higher mileage examples, check for weeping valve cover gaskets and oil pan seals. They're cheap to fix, but can quietly drop your oil level if you're not watching. 4. As always with Toyota, records beat everything. A documented RAV4 is worth paying up for. Car Edge +2. Who should buy it? The person who wants the single safest bet in the compact SUV world. This is the I never want to think about my car again vehicle. Who should skip it? Honestly, almost nobody, but if you specifically need it to be fun to drive, the Mazda handles better, and if you want 3 rows, this isn't your truck. That's number 3. If this straight talk is saving you money, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because the last 2 are the ones I'd actually put my own money into, the 400,000-mile machines. And number 1 broke my brain the first time I ran the parts numbers on it. Number 2, Toyota 4Runner with the 4.0-liter V6. This is the SUV. I tell people to buy when they say the words, "I want to drive it until the wheels fall off." Because on a 4Runner, the wheels fall off long before the engine does. The heart of it is the one CR-V, a 4.0-liter V6 that Toyota has barely changed for 2 decades. It's a timing chain, port-injected, non-turbocharged unit, and it is not known for systemic internal failures when maintained at factory intervals. No turbo to fail, no belt to replace, no direct injection carbon problems. The fifth generation, 4Runner with this engine, is known for reaching 300,000 plus miles in documented service, and the engine itself rarely fails when maintained. And here's the beautiful part about the 4Runner specifically. Over the first decade, owners spend roughly $1,716 less on maintenance than the segment average, and annual repair costs average $514, below the midsize SUV average, with most costs being routine, oil, brakes, tires, fluids. Why so cheap on parts? Because this exact engine block is shared with the Tacoma and the FJ Cruiser. That means the parts are produced in enormous volume across multiple best-selling vehicles, so everything from sensors to water pumps is cheap and available everywhere. I've personally worked on 4Runners north of 250,000 miles that still had the original transmission and drove like they had half that. Body-on-frame construction, a real transfer case, an engine that just shrugs off miles. The thing is basically a small truck wearing an SUV body. But, and this is the tip that separates people who get 400,000 miles from people who blow up a reliable 4Runner, the failures on high-mileage examples almost never come from the engine. They trace almost entirely to neglected rear differential and transfer case fluids. Toyota's maintenance language just says inspect, so most owners never change those fluids at all. That neglect is what kills them. So here's your checklist. 1. Ask for records of differential and transfer case fluid changes. If there are none, budget to do all of it immediately. It's cheap insurance. 2. This is a truck, so get underneath and check the frame for rust, especially on anything from a salt state. Frame condition matters more than mileage on these. 3. On higher mileage examples, the automatic can occasionally shift lazily around 125,000 to 150,000 miles, so feel for clean shifts on the test drive. 4. Buy the V6. If you stumble on the rare V8 4Runner, know that its timing chain tensioner can rattle and cost you real money. The V6 has no such issue. Who should buy it? The person who genuinely intends to keep a vehicle 15 years, tow a small trailer, and maybe hit a dirt road. This is a keep forever truck. Who should skip it? If you want good fuel economy or car-like handling, look elsewhere. The 4Runner drives like the truck it is, and it drinks a bit more fuel than the 4 cylinders above it. That's the tax for near indestructibility. Number 1. The Lexus GX470. Now stay with me because this is the one that flips the entire script. A Lexus. On a parts cost almost nothing list. It sounds like a contradiction until you understand what's actually under the skin. The GX470 looks like a $60,000 luxury SUV. It has the leather, the badge, the quiet ride. But mechanically? Underneath the polished exterior, it shares its DNA with the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado 120 and the 4Runner, the same body-on-frame J120 platform known for soaking up abuse without a squeak. Its 4.7-liter 2 UZFE V8 is the same engine found in the Toyota Tundra, Sequoia, some 4Runners, and the Land Cruiser, and it runs the same A750 transmission as the Tacoma, Tundra, and Land Cruiser. Do you understand what that means for your wallet? You own a Lexus, but you buy Toyota truck parts. When your GX needs a starter, an alternator, a water pump, a sensor, you're not paying luxury prices, you're paying Tacoma prices, because it's the same part. This is the single greatest parts cost arbitrage in the entire used SUV market. A luxury SUV that repairs like a work truck. And the engine is an anvil. The 2UZFE is one of Toyota's most dependable V8s, known for lasting over 300,000 miles with proper maintenance. It's a very smooth, reliable, well-loved engine that will happily do many hundreds of thousands of miles. It's an iron block V8 based on the same family as the legendary Lexus LS 400 motor, detuned for truck duty and torque. It sends power through a full-time four-wheel drive system with a torsion center differential, genuinely capable, genuinely overbuilt. OEM parts. Online. Let me tell you about the customer who argued with me over this one. Woman in her 50s wanted something safe and luxurious and was about to sign on a used Acura with a 9-speed transmission I don't trust. I told her to go drive a GX470. She looked at me like I'd suggested a horse and buggy. Isn't that ancient? I said yes, and that's exactly why it'll outlive everything on the lot. She bought an '08 with 140,000 miles. She's past 210,000 now. Total non-maintenance repair spend, a little over $1,000. Her exact text: "Why does nobody talk about this thing? Because it's a secret, and secrets are how you save money." Here's where I earn your trust as an honest mechanic, because the GX has two quirks, and I want you walking in with your eyes open. First, and this is the big one, unlike the chain-driven engines earlier on this list, the 2UZFE V8 uses a timing belt, and it needs replacing roughly every 90,000 miles. It's not expensive, a few hundred to maybe $900, and any competent shop can do it, but you must budget for it, and you should always ask when it was last done. Second, some GX470s have a rear height control air suspension setup that can get pricey when it ages, so on the test drive, make sure the rear sits level and rises properly. So here's your full checklist. 1. Ask for timing belt service records. If it's overdue or unknown, factor that into your offer. 2. Check that rear suspension sits level and doesn't sag or sound like an air pump running constantly. 3. Get underneath and inspect the frame for rust, same as the 4Runner, because it's the same body-on-frame construction. 4. Confirm the dash isn't cracking, a known cosmetic issue on some of these in hot climates. Do those 4 things, and you've bought a 400,000-mile luxury SUV whose parts cost the same as a pickup truck's. Who should buy it? The person who wants to look like they spent big money while secretly owning the cheapest to repair capable V8 SUV in existence. Empty nesters, weekend adventurers, anyone who's tired of luxury brands treating repairs like ransom notes. Who should skip it? If gas mileage is your top priority, this V8 will cost you at the pump. This is a durability and luxury play, not an economy play. And if you must have the newest infotainment, the old GX is charmingly basic inside. So there they are, 5 SUVs that flip the oldest rule in the car business, that reliability and cheap repairs can't live in the same driveway. The Ford Escape 2.5, the budget king everyone underestimates. The Honda CR-V with its million-mile capable K24. The RAV4, the safest bet in America. The 4Runner, a truck in an SUV costume that runs to 300,000 on fluid changes alone. And the GX470, the Lexus that repairs like a Tacoma and lives like a Land Cruiser. Next time a salesman tries to steer you toward a shiny German lease return with a warranty that expires right before the transmission does, you'll know exactly what to say. You'll know that the cheapest car to own isn't the one with the lowest sticker. It's the one where the parts are almost free and the engine simply refuses to quit. If this saved you from a 5-figure mistake, hit subscribe, because I've got a whole video coming on the exact SUVs. Mechanics quietly refuse to buy at any price, the money pits wearing reliable badges. Take care of these engines and they'll take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.